Well, thank you everyone for being on with us, those who can be live and those who are listening by way of recording. I know a lot of you couldn't make this because it's during work hours or it was a little last minute, but you all had no trouble in getting a slew of questions in super fast. I was so excited to see the interest level. And I am so excited to introduce Dr. Jana to you. I met Dr. Jana years ago through a ministry that she and I were both part of and love very much Revelation Wellness. And she led our entire ministry through a 21-day sugar fast that she felt the Holy Spirit inspired for her, a 21-day detox protocol that she uses with her patients and that she led the ministry through. And I even talked in our group today about when Elizabeth and Mary come together, they're both pregnant with John and Jesus, and there was this Holy Spirit moment of just like there was an awakening, there was the Spirit of God in me and the Spirit of God in Jan. I was just like, I want to be where the fire is hot, and the fire is hot in this woman. And so I was drawn to her as a sister in Christ, but definitely drawn to her as a functional health practitioner. She is, I think, in my opinion, I feel like I've kind of been pretty familiar in this world of functional medicine for a while now. She is the smartest. She is the smartest doctor I've ever worked with. She is inspired by the Holy Spirit. She discerns and prays over protocols for her patients. So she is very set apart in how she practices medicine. So it's truly a privilege to have her here with us. And so I'm so thankful for you, Dr. Jana, for just sharing your wisdom with us and taking some time to answer a few of the many questions, as I know you can't get to all of them, but we are so thankful for you. And just so you know, this is a group of Jesus loving women. They are here pursuing their health, pursuing their fitness. They are exploring new ways of creating food in a healthy, functional way. And they all truly believe that God designed their bodies to heal. And they are trying to learn as much about that as possible. So you are perfect for us. So I'm going to
Amen. I'm
pass it over.
proud. Well, thank you for that warm welcome. It's very humbling and hard to receive. I don't, the Lord gives us wisdom liberally to all who ask, and so truly, yes, I have some educational background and a couple decades of experience and things like that, and a lot of personal experience. The Lord has allowed me to suffer much and learn just as much from my own experience. You can have all the education in the world, but if it's not applicable to real people and you don't have tools that work, it's really just fleeting. Or if there's other things in our life that are wrecking our health on the back end, no amount of supplements or techniques is going to work, right? So it's a very holistic approach. So I know that my purpose here today is to try to just answer some questions for you guys, as many as I can. It's an honor to be here. This is my kind of group, people who were already primed. We know Jesus, we love Jesus, we know the power of Jesus. We're walking with, in the power of the Holy Spirit. And so we're just seeking greater wisdom or maybe clarity for confusion, because there's a lot of noise out there, and I try to shut that stuff out. So let me try to, and feel free, Becky, if you want to interrupt me at any time as I kind of tackle some of these questions. So I thought I would start with the ones that I feel best equipped to answer. So there can be a lot of health questions out there, but I really feel called to stay in my lane and do what I feel best at. So I'm going to start with the question about, there are two questions about thyroid health. And so even though the question might be framed in one way, I'm going to try to just give you the best information about thyroid that I can. Does that sound fair? Okay. So, and I'm also, I do not treat disease. I don't treat cancer. So one of the thyroid questions wanted it to be particularly about cancer, but I'm not going to do that because I don't treat cancer. But cancer in our body, this just came up with two different people that I had appointments with this morning before this call. When you go after root causes, so I don't know what you've shared about me or what they know about me or anything like that, but my specialty really is root cause medicine and more targeted toward women's health. I still work with husbands, I still work with children, but I love working with women, and I'm really passionate about giving moms and grandmas their life back, helping partner with the Lord to give you your life back so that you can do your job as a mom, or a lot of us are homeschooling moms or things like that. And it's really important that we are well and clear-minded and we're fighting for our families and helping our husbands, and we can wear the many hats that we're called to wear in today's modern society, right? So, okay, so thyroid health is extremely critical. I will tell you that pretty much, we'll just say, just for the sake of me being maybe wrong on one person, that 99% of 0.9% of everyone I work with has a thyroid issue, to be clear. And the absolute majority of those are low thyroid, and then a percentage of those are autoimmune Hashimoto's. But it's low thyroid that I see the most of, and I have a very small percentage of actually hyperthyroid Graves' disease patients. And that's much more serious and complicated and urgent to get a hold of. But if you have a low thyroid, you have gut issues. So it's never just isolated where you can just, I mean, you can, but if you just work on the thyroid, but you don't get after root causes, and I'll kind of give a summary of what I mean by that, then you will only get partially better or only feel partially better, at least initially. However, that said, whether somebody's in my group program, which is what I invited Becky, the Lord put it on my heart to bring her into my program. Um, she did get it complimentary because it was something the Lord put on my heart. And when it was a pilot program, and it's been awesome, and we both learned so much through it. Or if you're a one-on-one patient, we're always working on thyroid, but we're also working on the gut and all the things that make the thyroid malfunction or dysfunction, crash it, whatever. So we're exposed to tons of heavy metals. We're exposed to all kinds of environmental toxins. There are over 86,000 environmental toxins that have been put into our environment in our time. About half of those, 45 to 46,000, 48,000, whatever, somewhere around 50% of those are active and being put into the environment today, but some of those other 40 something thousand are still in our soils, our water systems, whatever, and there are forever chemicals that they say we can't get out. Now, what I'm going to say to that is God has given us tools, and that is not true. So I deep tested myself for everything a few years ago. I lived healthy. I was a Christ-centered spin instructor. I practiced what I preached, but my health went tanking after I had my first baby, and my body was flipping out, and I thought I was going to go out of the game. I didn't even know if I could still mother well anymore. Like, I was so sick, and it was taking me down. So I knew I had to shift gears and get better tools and take my practice to a whole nother level, really in the name of saving my own life. I know that the Lord is only the one who it really gets the credit for that, but he led me to other resources. Anyway, in summary, I had full-on Lyme disease, severe mold poisoning. I was full of heavy metals, full of environmental toxins. And this is somebody who lived a lifestyle of detoxification through supplements and diet, ate pretty much perfectly healthy, exercised all the time. I had, some compromised genetics, but you cannot stop what your environment is exposing you to, or things that get buried under biofilms in childhood or before you knew better. And diet and exercise will only take you so far. And with certain things, they will not be enough to clear mold, Lyme, heal a thyroid problem, things like that. So I just want to make that clear. So the question came up about thyroid health. Are there ways to heal it? They want to know anything about thyroid health. And then somebody asked about especially thyroid cancer. Again, either way, whether it's cancer or just low thyroid, it means there's toxins in your body and endocrine disruptors that have caused some damage, but there's also going to be gut problems. So that can be any long list of infections that have led to leaky gut, sent the immune system into an autoimmune storm, whatever. But I will say that, again, of those, pretty much every single patient that I work with that has a thyroid problem, in almost every case, I manage it 100% naturally. And so it can be fully managed through supplementation without a prescription or without having to have an endocrinologist or an MD or a DO that holds your prescription hostage and won't increase your medication when you need to. Becky, you could probably speak to this. I don't know if you have with them or not. But Yes, there are products out there that you can fully manage it with. It would be a disservice to try to say, hey, everyone, here's what you do. I mean, Becky can attest, every single person in my program where you kind of get to hear other people's questions and see how people's plans look different from yours. There's no two people that are the same, that dose the same, that need the same combination of products. We are uniquely created by God, and the different things that we've been exposed to, plus our genetic blueprint and all these other factors, and where we live, the environment, the state, what's being sprayed around us. I don't know what kind of water we have. Everything plays a role, and we could spend hours just talking about that. That said, I feel like I have great wisdom in that area to manage somebody and take somebody from hypothyroid or Hashimoto's to health. Very, very few people, I know this is not what everybody wants to hear, but this is just the truth after doing this for 20 years. Very, very few people will get off of a thyroid supplement because of the damage that's been done to the thyroid in these modern decades in which we all have been born and lived in. However, I've taken almost everyone who's on a thyroid medication off of that to manage naturally, because that's what most people are seeking. There is a small percentage of people who do way better with thyroid medication, or they just dose so high on the natural supplement that it doesn't make sense. It's too expensive and too many pills to swallow to get there, or we're doing a combination for a time. That said, there's so much hope. Thyroids are being mismanaged terribly, and people are not getting better. And many, many people I work with who are on thyroid medication, it's really not working, and they don't feel good. And Becky, you could probably speak to that, right? So, um, when you're using natural supplements, the majority, you're working with bovine thyroid products. All thyroid medication is porcine, pork-based, and then it's loaded with, depending on the drug, there's a long list of options out there and generics out there, but then they're loaded with things like talc, which is carcinogenic, or gluten, which is an absolute no-no. If you have low thyroid, if you suspect low thyroid, gluten and oats have to go. You will knock down your thyroid every day where you're trying, and if you're investing in a supplement or even your medication and you're taking in gluten or oats, or even in some cases just grains in general, you're knocking down your thyroid on the back end. So there's much hope, but it does take quite a bit of coaching to get you there. Once you understand it, once we have it dialed in, you start to learn your body, and then you know how to manage it on your own. That's my whole goal, is to teach you how to take care of yourself. So we've got a process of working together to get you there. But then the ideal situation is that you become more and more independent, and I or your practitioner are only there as needed, because things are beyond your expertise level. Not, the average person doesn't do this every day. And when you learn so much from working with hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people and seeing the differences and seeing what works and knowing when to pivot, when to slow down, when to be really aggressive, and it's totally safe. Um, does that help? Yeah.
Are there certain foods that they could eat or incorporate into their diet that you would recommend, like, Brazilian nuts or things like that, that you would suggest for thyroid health?
So I know that this is what a lot, like, people will make a lot of. So I'm going to answer this question really quick. Are gluten-free oats okay? No. Oats, period, are no. Gluten-free oats is kind of a total gimmick. The protein molecule in oats is almost identical to gluten, and this is where people are being deceived every single day and are crashing their thyroids, and it's causing either the autoimmune storm or just knocking it down. So I discovered this really early on in practice. Now more and more people are talking about it, but it doesn't matter how organic or how gluten-free. If you have a thyroid problem, my advice to you is to cut out oats, oat milk. Um, Grains don't produce milk. So sorry, I have kind of a sarcastic side of me where some of these health trends that go through, you're like, what? Um, uh, Okay. Oh, you said the foods. So, foods that are rich in selenium, like Brazil nuts, they're not going to hurt, but these are not the recommendations that are going to get anyone better. So I honestly feel like they are a waste of time on your focus. If you want the streamlined solution, you need to get that really strong T4 glandular, what's right for each person is different. I use different product lines to customize plans for everybody. And we have to test the waters and see if you're a low doser or a high doser, or if you benefit from more like iodine and selenium or not. If you're a Hashimoto's case, you should not be taking iodine, even if your iodine levels are really low, because it can make the autoimmune worse. So there's all these things that you need to know, that you just need a qualified practitioner to get you going, to get you dialed in and know about your specific situation. So, and then a plan that's going to work for you. And what we live in a world of is we want to make a one size fits all sort of plan and recommendation for everybody, and it's just not going to work. That said, yes, everybody can start cutting out grains, or going gluten-free and oat-free. Are you going to notice a drastic difference when you do just that? Some people, yes, and other people will go, I don't feel a difference. This is too hard. I don't want to do this. Even if you go gluten and oat free and you can't tell a huge difference, it doesn't mean it's not high value if you have a thyroid problem. Okay? That you have to trust me on from years of experience. But if I could tell you the number of people, it's not 2 or 5 or 25, that have had to make an appointment. They're in the thick of a thyroid crash. Becky's witnessed it on like our live sessions in our group program. And I can tell the second somebody comes on to ask their question, they're in tears, they're weepy, they're kind of losing their minds, anxiety's through the roof, everything's wrong, and they don't know what happened to them. And I'll go, did you run out of your thyroid supplement? Did you eat gluten? Well, my neighbor brought me this really good loaf of sourdough, and it's sourdough. And my friend said, or I watched this video and they said that it has like minimal gluten in it, and that even though if I'm gluten free, I can still have sourdough. If I could, I would be so wealthy if I got $20 every time I've heard that. And so people are being deceived because they're getting their info, they're not seeking godly wisdom, they're listening to all the voices online and on YouTube. And then it costs them an appointment. Sometimes they bounce back in a week, and sometimes it takes them about 3 months to pull out of that autoimmune storm they just caused in their body. So I'm giving you this piece of really free, good information, but most won't listen. It packs a lot of punch and it matters, because of what it does to your immune system and your gut to destroy your thyroid. Um, I think you asked me something else. Was there another part to it, or was that good?
No, that's
Oh,
good. Yeah.
dietary stuff. So what can you do? I mean, focusing on high protein, more of a paleo style diet, let's say for the sake of ease. So when I'm in a group setting with people I don't know, the best advice is going to be, where you're going to find the most resources and available recipes would be, say, to go paleo. That is a very good thyroid supporting diet. Is not going to heal your thyroid, but it's going to quit assaulting your thyroid through diet. If you want to incorporate something like Brazil nuts, but here's the thing. Most people with a thyroid issue, almost all of them also have liver and gallbladder problems, because almost everybody has a gallbladder problem that they do not know and aren't aware of. So nuts are hard for your gallbladder and gut to digest. So it's like we live in this health world where it's like, let's do the research and go, what's high in selenium? So I'm going to eat these things and focus on this thing, but it's really not going to pack a lot of punch and do a whole lot for your thyroid, because of the other reasons why it could not be good. And that's where, like, the confusion, I saw the question about conflicting information about toothpaste or sunscreen, right? Because two things can be true at one time. Brazil nuts are rich in selenium and they can be beneficial for your thyroid. But if you have a gallbladder issue, they can be really hard to digest or cause constipation, which is going to make your thyroid worse. So it's actually not ultimately beneficial, or the bad, like, it's just a poor focus of energy. Does that make sense? But real food is important. Cutting out grains is important. High protein is important. Avoiding pesticides and massive toxic loads is important, or maybe growing your own food or buying organic. Those things are important so that we're not continuing to assault our body. But my favorite tagline is now, like, a binder a day keeps the doctor away. It's not a multivitamin, it's not a little selenium per se, but a binder, like removing the bad stuff so that you can actually absorb and digest and quit knocking down the physiology in our bodies. So let's see. Does that kind of cover the
Yeah,
thyroid?
I think that's great for thyroid. I know there were lots of other things, so we can go to
Let's,
another subject.
so I'll segue that into female hormones because it's really one and the same. So balancing hormones, huge topic. We would have to be here all week to cover all the things. I do not dive in most cases. So very, very rarely, there is a time and a place if someone's suffering really terribly where we might do something for hormones right up front. That said, about 50% of the time when you go after root causes, you're going to hear me repeat this intentionally over and over because going after root causes is the strategy, whether you're talking about cancer, Crohn's disease, or like serious gut problems, hypothyroid, autism, autoimmune disease, you get the idea. So we don't care what the label is per se. I mean, I do, it's noted, but that does not tell us exactly what somebody needs. It's just a label put on a group of symptoms or a biomarker, some biomarkers found in lab work, but it doesn't help us get that person better. What helps us get better is knowledge of the things we need to target, root causes. So when I say that, and this is the key to hormone balance, true hormone and lasting hormone balancing. So if you get the gut dialed in and you get detox dialed in properly and the body cleaned out, the foundation that God gave us in this body with all of our systems and our cells and the amazing intelligence built inside of us, it can start to produce hormones again, and then the thyroid can start to fire again, and the gut can start to digest again, and we can produce pints and pints of bile that actually dumps into our small intestine, which is one of the most powerful ways we bind toxins and get rid of them through our colon every day. So our primary pathway of detox is through the colon, 85% of it. We also detox through urination, respiration, breath, and perspiration, sweat, by way of the lymphatic system, right? And other things. But the primary system is through the colon. So people want to do all these, this will tag on some other kind of questions too. People want to get into, they want their starting point to be things like dry brushing and infrared saunas or vibration plates or cold plunging. And none of those are bad. I don't have a problem with any of those. But people can be hundreds to thousands of dollars into the game with things that will not kill parasites, fully open your drainage pathways, fully heal your cells, will not kill viruses, will not kill Lyme disease. It will not clear fully heavy metals. It can help regulate your nervous system, which is important. And that is all the buzz right now. Like everybody loves to use big fancy words and talk about neuroplasticity and vagal tone. These are all the buzzwords that are trending right now, and they're important and they're real. But if the body stays completely bogged down with worms or microscopic parasites and pathogenic bacteria and viruses and fungal infections and all the types of mold or Lyme co-infections and heavy metals or is full of environmental toxins, no amount of those things is going to heal it. Does that make sense? So, and like I've tried all these, sorry, my phone's buzzing at me. When you're in this field and you work with people day in and day out, you've tried every order of things and many, many, many product lines and many strategies and many DIY things. And you've seen people come in with, boxes and boxes full of supplements that they've tried where it's like we're trying to match symptoms to supplements. That is not the proper application of natural medicine. If you start, this is very logical, right? So I hope that the light bulbs will go off after today. If you can identify your targets. Okay, so I live in Wyoming now. I came from California by way of Tennessee and then St. Louis. So I've lived everywhere, you guys, in very diverse places. But in Wyoming, everybody hunts except for us. And nobody goes bear hunting or elk hunt. Everybody knows what they're hunting, and therefore strategy, equipment, and ammunition if they succeed, for how to succeed. Does that make sense? So if step one is properly identifying our targets, what is the load on someone's body? What are we up against? What's actually causing this? we can form a very targeted, strategized plan to get you well. It's actually not rocket science at all. And then you have to have tools that work and plenty of experience to know when to pivot or adjust somebody's plan, because some people you have to get are high dosers and some people are really sensitive and need really simple products, and you have to know how to discern the difference and stuff like that. That would be just where my job comes into play. If somebody can't afford to do root cause lab testing or some version of root cause lab testing, that was what I created my program for, so that I have tools that work. And I find that you, after years and years, you find what are the things that work for most people? What are the things I'm doing over and over and over again, or starting with and kind of customizing from there. And you cast a big net that is totally safe, but you are there as the expert to know when to pull back and how to customize and read each person's body and have close contact with them. Not here, do this, just, go off on your own, take this one product for 2 weeks and you're going to be fine. Most people aren't passing worms and mucoid plaques and um, all the other flukes and all the mysterious things that come out of our bodies. And this is very real. And I hope nobody's totally grossed out by this. But when you see that evidence, it's actually really rewarding because you go, whoa, okay, she's not making this up. This is very real. You can imagine those things are making you sick. They're holding your immune system hostage. Every day, your immune system's on overdrive going, fight, fight, fight. We can't get rid of this. So, okay, turn up the heat. We got to fight, fight, fight. But we can't, it's not getting out. And these things are reproducing in our bodies. So, in simple, it's the overload of some um, group of layers of toxins and infections that are at the root of our health problems. And that leads to a low thyroid or hyperactive thyroid in more minimal cases, and then hormone imbalances. So the thyroid is the master control system of the endocrine system. Blood sugar stability is really important for the rest of the hormones to balance. It's all part of the endocrine system. Insulin, T4, T3, TSH is actually pituitary, but that comes before going hard after your sex hormones, I guess is what I'm saying. So it's the long-winded but proper answer to hormone balancing. And then you have to have tools that work to target either a single hormone or cast a big net to go after if like most things are low, everything's low, or again, if someone can't afford to do lab testing to know what hormones are low, but we're reading the body and like libido staying tanked, vaginal dryness is a thing, hot flashes aren't improving, they're feeling, anxiety is not improving or whatever, there's still things that we can do that are very safe where we start with low dosing and we go up with products that are tried and true, that tend to work on the majority of people. So there's still hope and still things you can do if you don't have all the lab evidence in the world. But in an ideal situation, you have some version of lab evidence so that you know what in the world is going on, because symptoms are overlapping. You cannot accurately diagnose somebody or know what in the world is really hiding in the body just based on symptoms. You can't. You can have good guesses, but after you've seen enough root cause lab testing, you've seen all the different combinations, and no two people with Crohn's disease, every one of those has been misdiagnosed. Every one of them had like severe pathogenic bacteria or parasites or severe mold poisoning that attacked their gut lining, that triggered their immune system, or they had a massive fungal infection or something like that. We just called it Crohn's disease, and they walk around telling everybody about this label and how it's incurable, or some people even get their colon cut out. And it's so sad because also every single one that I've worked with has been healed. Every single one. Because we knew exactly what our target was. And so we put the right balm or the right binder and all of the above into their body, and the root causes were dealt with. Suddenly they didn't have those symptoms that led them to get diagnosed with Crohn's anymore. So the same thing with the hormones. The hormones are imbalanced, and those are the flags that are being thrown up. And the body's saying, help, like, I don't even want to look at my husband anymore, or help, I'm having hot flashes everywhere I go, or I'm freezing cold, I cannot warm up and it's 100 degrees outside, or my hair's falling out, or I'm aging rapidly. Like, what is happening to me? I'm like going gray and my skin is crepey and I just feel dried up. those are real symptoms, but they are fixable. But the answer is not as simple as watching an Instagram reel that everybody's marketing some magic product and this is what's gonna, it may help, it may kind of whatever, but the body didn't get there overnight. And all the things, or this is the same answer if you're talking about bioidenticals or even worse, hormone replacement therapy. If you just throw hormones in the body based on lab work, let's just say, even if it's bioidenticals, nothing's the same as um, our body's production of hormones, right? We want our systems to function because that is important for so many other things and for lasting like neurological health and prevention of Alzheimer's and to make sure we can go to the bathroom for the rest of our life and sleep through the night, or we're not waking up to pee 2 and 4 and 5, 6 times a night like some people are. The kidneys are so weak. There's a reason for that. Their body's probably completely overloaded with toxins and infections. So it's a process. We live in a very toxic world today. We can't avoid everything, so we don't want to obsess or anything like that. But I believe it is a disservice in most cases. Never, there's always exceptions to the rule, and sometimes it is very kind to get on bioidenticals, stabilize the person, and then do the deep work, and then wean off of those things later if possible. But most people, you can balance their hormones and they will get really good results just from detoxing and dialing in the thyroid. And then if something remains, then we fine tune as needed with the sex hormones, because usually the hormone symptoms have at least calmed down or reduced enough to where it's tolerable. And we just have some fine tuning work to do at the end.
That's really helpful. I think because I know that we have just like a little bit of time left, could
Yep.
you like quick fire, like your favorite sunscreen, anything that's just kind of like easy for you to answer just to address a couple more that are
Yep.
quicker?
Yep. And it's kind of the same answer for the person that asked about PMS, PMDD. And again, it's all just evidence that the body is overloaded and you're most likely going to level out cycles by detoxing and getting the thyroid dialed in and stuff like that. This is my favorite toothpaste. I have this product line on my website is the on the store tab, the Designs for Health line is a product line that anyone can access. So keep in mind when you're talking with like a functional medicine practitioner, a lot of us are using lines that you cannot just open up to the public. We sign contracts, they're very strong products. You have to know how to use them. It's not right. But Designs for Health is available to the public, and that's where I get my toothpaste. Somebody said conflicting information. It's been hard for their family to navigate over toothpaste. I would not spend much more time worrying about toothpaste because there's so many things that affect our health. Um, some people swear by fluoride. I have never used, I mean, other than when I got on, when I was a child, I did. But since I've been 20s and up, I've not used fluoride. I don't have cavities. I have strong teeth. Fluoride was a toxic waste product that they found ways to market as helpful and convince people that it is necessary for your teeth to be healthy. It's a total lie. It's not true. But you're going to have dentists that swear by it. For all of the halides, so anybody who took chemistry and knows the periodic table, you're like fluorine, chlorine, bromine, all of those. So fluoride is this in the same family of the halides as iodine. So by using fluoride or swimming in a pool with chlorine all the time or drinking tap water loaded with chlorine, you're knocking iodine out of your thyroid and other things, which can disrupt your hormones and affect your mental clarity, be a setup for all kinds of other things. So long list, whatever. Anyway, so I prefer fluoride-free toothpaste, but not just avoiding things, but having something that has the things that build your teeth and that are like mineral rich, hydroxyapatite, things like that. So, and there's other good ones on the market. The question was, what do you recommend? That's what my kids use and I use, and it's a sweet mint flavor, and they also have lemon flavor. Sunscreen thoughts. I am not a fan of sunscreen. So I'm probably going to say things opposite what everybody's been taught. If you're going to be in the sun all day to where you're going to burn, it's a 4th of July party or something like that, The goal is not to burn, but we do want to get our skin exposed to real sunlight frequently, but without burning and damaging our skins. We're never promoting sunburns. I'm never promoting blisters. But if you get your gut in order and your gallbladder is working to where you can assimilate fats properly and you eat good fats, I make my own body butter. I have a free recipe for killer body butter on my old website. Um, you're actually putting sunscreen onto your skin when you use things like raw coconut oil or olive oil or shea butter, coconut butter, mango butter. Carrot seed oil has natural SPF in it, so you can buy that like on Amazon and put that into your body butter. And I just use that daily to fuel and protect my skin. And I do not burn, I do have olive skin, but my girls are blondes. I don't know how they came out of my body, but they're blonde hair, blue eyed. And that's just what I use on them sometimes. I'm not even good about putting it on them all the time. And I never put sunscreen on my kids. I sent them with, so I have an old sunscreen that I've literally had for since California. I've been here over 3 years. So it's probably 5+ years old from Beauty Counter, which doesn't exist anymore. They're kind of getting it up and running. So you could go to whatever their new company is called. It's clean, it's good, but I like literally next to never use it. I will use my body butter first, or I will tend to wear long sleeves or head to the shade or wear a wide brimmed hat. It's really good for your eyes to look through natural sunlight and not wear sunglasses all the time. We need this to fire physiology in our body. The sun is not evil. We've been lied to. Too much sun, right? I mean, it's just like anything, you're not, if you take too much magnesium, you're going to get diarrhea. Nobody's telling you to do that. Some people need a lot though, just to fuel their cells, way more than a bottle says. But the same with sun. And early morning sun is so good for charging your batteries, aka your mitochondria, and helping improve the quantity and quality of your mitochondria, keeping your vitamin D levels up, which helps with converting T4 to T3 for thyroid health and metabolic rate. And I mean, I think almost everybody could testify when you go sit in the sun, you just feel better, even if you commit to getting like 10 minutes of bright sunlight a day. Amen. So that's my 2 cents on that. Again, I'm not saying to burn. Nobody misunderstand what I'm saying. And then there is I can't remember the name. It's Soul and something, SOL, Sun and Soul, or Soul and something is a brand that's popular right now that's tallow based. I also use tallow in my home, in my own body butter now. And I make it myself. So um, I
I'll put
don't
the
buy.
recipe on the website on our group page. I can put the recipe for your body butter and your old website and your new website on for people. Yeah.
But what I was just going to say though is the tallow is not in there. Like I'm constantly making different versions of body butter. I just want you to know, you guys, you can't screw it up too bad. You'll find like whether you like it thicker or a little more lotiony or greasy, because I'm in an arid climate in north central Wyoming. If you're in a humid climate, you're not going to want it as greasy. It's going to feel really yucky. But tallow is amazing. It's anti-aging. It's a great sun protectant added in, but all of those natural butters and oils provide some level of sun protection, especially if you add carrot seed oil. Your body butter could contain around 20 to 25 SPF just by using something that's good for your skin every day.
Wow. That's
Seriously.
amazing.
And
So
it's what you fuel. If your cells are healthy, you're not going to burn as easy. If you're not inflamed, you're not going to burn as easy. So once again, detox, 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 and power your cells.
mm.
Okay.
So someone just asked if you don't have a gallbladder, because you had mentioned if you have a healthy gallbladder, and I have to go here in like 3 minutes.
Yeah.
So, but gosh, we could just like talk forever. I'm sure this is like your life all the time. But if someone doesn't have a gallbladder, can they still get out in the sun? All this is still applicable to them.
That makes, yeah, many people I work with don't have a gallbladder. Um, None of that affects any of what we're talking about. But if you got your gallbladder removed, all the things that cause that, if those haven't been dealt with, are still there. And those are the things, once again, we're going after, because you still have a liver and you still have all the ductwork, the biliary system where bile is made and how it should come out. They just cut off the sac, the bladder. So people don't understand that. a lot of times. And all of that still needs all the work. It's still full of worms, debris, gallstones. They don't just sit in the bladder. They're up all through all that tubing in the body.
Okay, so friends, there are so many more questions that we could ask, and I even see some. Can you put tallow on your face? Yes, absolutely can.
Yep.
Dr. Jana also has a homemade toothpaste that I brush my teeth with every day.
Oh,
Um,
yes.
so speaking
The
of
tooth, that's a tooth polish. You could give
tooth
them that
polish,
recipe. It's so easy, you guys. And
it's
I always brush with that before I get my teeth cleaned, and they're always like, "What? Your teeth are like so clean." I mean, you will feel like squeaky clean. It gets the plaque off. It's
it's
so
amazing.
yeah.
So, all right, so here's how this works with Dr. Jana. So I think that you all realize that there's so many more questions you could ask. There's so many questions about the actual protocol for hormone health. And so all of that can be discovered with her. If you wanted to meet with Dr. Janice, she does one-on-one calls and meets with patients. I have done both with her over the years. The health revival group is just that. It is truly a health revival. We heal in community, and we have become a community within this very similar-ish to our little Facebook community, how we all would feel connected. It's that, and then times a million more because you have Dr. Jana at the helm with her wisdom. And so you do a very, very extensive intake. Someone asked, how do you discover root cause? And she said that you can do root cause testing, but if you can't afford that, she has a very extensive intake process that she discovers your health needs based on a very extensive intake. I'll say that, like, it does take some time, but she has to have that if we're not going to do root cause. And then she has protocol that she would start putting each individual through. And then we come together once a week as you can for a group call with Dr. Jana. So it's this for, I mean, Jana, we've been on what, 2 hours before just doing this. I mean, it's just amazing how much you learn. And so, believe it or not, I mean, like the things that she just said, I was just sitting here thinking, I know all this because I have sat under her for 9 months. She has several modules that you listen to, you go through as a community, each module of learning from detoxification to thyroid health to um, candida, and I mean it just goes on and on and on. She talks about diet and paleo and sugar detox, and when I say it is an extensive program, it is extensive. Things are birthed in 9 months, and I think that it's just a beautiful 9 month protocol or 9 month program to bring us to a place of just rebirth in our health. And so I cannot recommend her enough. I could sing her praises all day. She has helped me not only with my physical health, but with my spiritual health as well. I'm currently going through a protocol for my own thyroid. I feel amazing. And when she says that crazy things come out of your body, you are not the one who doesn't have crazy things in your gut. I'm telling you, there's crazy things in your gut. And I have worked with many practitioners in the functional world, and no one has gotten me to a place where I am detoxing like I have with her. And so it's true. All these things are true. So if you want more information, I'm happy to answer questions if you want to chat with me. But you could also, Gina, what is the process if they had more interest in talking to you about their specific like health needs? Or
Yep.
how the program?
Yeah, so the process is pretty streamlined. So you just go to drjana.com, DRJANA, and I have everything you need to know on my website. So you scheduling an initial consult, we have 90 minutes together, and we start digging through your health and coming up with a plan and whether you're going to go one-on-one or group route. All of the information about my group program is on there. There's a whole page dedicated to that. You can see a comparison chart of what the difference is in one-on-one care versus this, because it's a totally unique thing that God inspired me. It's not like it's not a DIY program. It's not it's very unique. I've better results than I ever imagined. So anyway, that information's on there. If you want to, you're ready to schedule an initial consult. If you really want to talk to me first, which is the number one thing that I recommend, that is on the homepage. You schedule just through my website. If you have further questions, there's a place where you can contact us and send a message to my office or talk to my practice manager. She can answer questions as well. My store tab, my resources to get to my old blog with all these free recipes, wellness recipes, videos on castor oil and body butter or homemade tooth polish or whatever we're talking about. Those are all, everything can be accessed through drjana.com is the simple answer. So you can just
Love it.
sift through that. You can get on my newsletter there. I don't send out a lot. I mean, my primary focus is just being busy helping people one-on-one because that's what I feel called to do. I'm a homeschool mom, so I have to be, careful with my time and not burn myself out doing all kinds of, teaching the public. And then everybody has an adverse question to everything that you'll say online. And I'm here for the people who really need dialed in, catered one-on-one or like close management and a custom plan. So yeah,
Wow. We know that this was a gift. Thank you so much, Dr.
you're
Jana.
welcome.
I love
You're
you.
welcome. Love
You're
you
amazing.
too, sister. All right. Bye,
And
ladies.
we'll talk to everyone soon. If you have more questions, feel free to reach out to me and I'll put Dr. Jana's information on our page too. All right. Love you all. I'll send the replay soon. Okay.
God
Bye.
bless. Okay, bye-bye.